Hi, it's Splinterverse. Welcome to another episode of D&D New Releases, the show where we talk about new third-party products for Dungeons & Dragons from both Dungeon Masters Guild and DriveThruRPG. We cover 20 new titles from each of those sites. This is not a review show, as we have not looked at any of these products in full, so please venture into them at your own discretion. We do include alphabetical links to all of the titles shown in this video in the video description. So if you want to help the channel, please use those links to purchase these titles. You can also support by purchasing one of our books, two of which are shown on screen right now, and those are also linked in our video description. Please subscribe and share the video as well. It helps the channel and all of the creators in today's episode. This week's episode focuses on titles released between August 9th and the 13th of 2021. We've got lots of 5th edition titles, plus some Pathfinder, Morkborg, you name it, it's in here. So stay tuned all the way to the end so you can see the modules, optional rules, subclasses, etc. that we have on display this week. First up, we have 5e Background Delve, a character supplement for the 5th edition. It's from Run Right Play and 𝙬𝙤𝙬𝙧𝙬𝙬. It's free, and it's 36 pages, and it says it's basically a free supplement designed to help your imagination, boost your creativity, and delve deeper into the 13 character backgrounds presented in the core game. All you need is this PDF and a D12 sided die to generate a prompt and inspire a narrative detail for your character's background. So what I like about this is that it's building upon what's already in the core game, those backgrounds, giving you some more information. It says here, perhaps your acolyte character is the sole survivor of an attack which destroyed your temple, and you know who caused it all. So that's a story starter, right? Having your acolyte character know who caused the attack that destroyed your temple, and having to find that person or bring them to justice or right the wrong or whatever. That's a good angle for a campaign or even a one-shot. So very cool that they're focusing on the various backgrounds. There's another one here. Maybe your criminal character has a loved one that they'd do anything for, but who can never find out the truth about what your character does ever. So yeah, keeping secrets about being a criminal. Or it says perhaps your noble character has recently discovered their family has been bankrupt. So again, just twists on those backgrounds that we're familiar with, that have been around for a while with 5th edition, adding something new to it. You see some titles doing new backgrounds, but you don't really see any touching the old ones, so I like that angle of it. Let's take a look inside. Get to see 11 of the 36 pages with this full-size preview here. Nice layout. Look at the artwork they've got in here. So it says the acolyte. Your sensei was harsh but fair. They have a very important place in your heart and impacted you so deeply that everything has to be done to perfection. There's no room for error. Life is harsh but fair. So yeah, if you're playing the acolyte, you want to add that little detail in. You can make it even more specific rather than just the run-of-the-mill acolyte. And then you've got the charlatan with 12 options there. So it just goes through, and here's criminal. So I like how this is set up. 12 different options for each of the classes here, or each of the backgrounds I should say. So you got acolyte all the way down to urchin, and that's quite a lot. I like it. I like it, and all you need is a D12 because, as you can see, it's just one page for each one. And you can't beat free, so why not check this out? It's our first title this week. Look for it under 5e Background Delve in the links below and give it a click and get it for free. And next we've got Armageddon's Armory by Andrew Frinkle and Medium Stream Press. It's on sale for $9.99, regularly $14.99. 78 pages, 5th edition. 30 magical weapons have just arrived in your world. They have great powers that anyone can use, and they seem to be driving the owners to hunt each other down. Those who don't have them want them. Those who have them want them all. So that's kind of a cool hook, that these weapons are just causing people to get obsessed. So I think that could be a fun angle, more than just your usual, here's a new weapon. It says, who will survive the coming battle, who made them, what is their dark purpose? In an adventure module that brings to mind Highlander and Fred Saberhagen's Book of Swords, there's an amazing amount of freedom in how you want to approach this resource. Add it to a custom setting, use parts of it, use NPCs included, or make your own. And it says it includes original artwork and characters, 30 custom weapons of order and chaos, 4 master blades, 30 NPCs with a weapon assigned to each, custom villainous race, and suggestions for running your game. So, very cool. Let's look inside. So you can see they've got the intro pages here, and then how to use the adventure guide. And then here's the 30 weapons and the powers of the weapons. So they've listed all the weapons by because they're assigned to order or chaos each, which is kind of a cool concept, and I'm assuming there's something different that goes on if you're part of, if you're holding a weapon on the chaos side as opposed to order. And then here's all the weapons of order, and they've got artwork for them with all the details of what the weapon does. We'll read one in a minute, but you can see 20 of these 78 pages, so that's a decent preview here. Got endurance on this one. It's a broadsword. It gives you the length and weight, the damage, and it says this is a simple looking stout blade with a groove running down the middle. It's very durable and easy to use. Abilities, plus 10% to base hit points, plus 2 to constitution, and 1 to strength. Points will disappear at a rate of 1 per hour until normal if the weapon is lost. Minus 25% damage to each hit received, rounding down. Stamina checks are performed at plus 3. Strength checks are performed at plus 2. You heal at 25% faster than your base rate, and you will not go unconscious until you have reached negative HP equal to your con score, at which point you will die unless you receive medical care. So it doesn't say the rarity, but maybe they're all of a certain rarity because they're part of this group. Let's scroll back up and see if it has anything on the rarity. But it does say here the weapons arrive without any ceremony or notice, except perhaps as part of a particularly bright meteor shower. Though none seem to crash to the ground, the 30 magical artifacts, or their artifacts, are simply found one day, spread throughout the kingdom and lands. No one knows why they came or who they came from. What is known is that they are instantly the source of conflict. Even the weapons with more peaceful abilities seem to cause jealousy, greed, and strife. Everyone who sees them covets them. So, yeah, we were reading something like that in the beginning here, but it appears that they're artifacts in terms of rarity here. But I like the setup that it's, these weapons mysteriously appear and create all kinds of conflict, and presumably you learn more about that after you go through each of the weapons here, but we're not able to see, of course, the spoilers for all of that in the preview, so hopefully you can click the link for Armageddon's Armory in the links below. Come over, take a look, give it a try, see if it works for you. I think it's a fun angle for a campaign. I haven't seen anything like this, so I would be interested to see how it works, and I'd love to be a player in this setting and be like, where are all these weapons coming from, and why do I want them so badly? So check it out on DriveThruRPG. Up next we have Back to Basics, emphasis on the X there in Basics, issues 1 through 10 bundled together as a PDF. It's from Throwy Games for $15, 216 pages. It says it's just for Dungeons and Dragons because it's meant for BX or BasiX. It says the initial print run of 10 issues gathered into one US trade hardcover size for BX enthusiasts. The 216-page book features a new color cover by the fanzine's original artist. So they're collecting this quarterly fanzine here. It was originally printed between June 2017 and September 2019, and the individual PDFs are still accessible, but this is kind of bringing them together with a brand new cover. I think that's cool. Comic books do that. They do these trade paperbacks, and I like when zines do this because you can get the whole thing and look through it all at once, and I really like the art of this cover. It gives you that old school feeling, and BX is just a lot of fun. So yeah, looking through here, you get the issue, the number of pages, and when it was released. Got some nice black and white art, gives you more of that BX feel. And then we'll read one of these items in a minute, but they got these nice black and white maps as well, so you get to see 10 of the 216 pages, so you're getting to see part of the first issue, presumably. So it says here, belt of flying. This wide leather belt gives the wearer the benefit of flight, matching that of a large bird. Movement rates are 120 feet when flying. No limb movement is required to fly or steer. Only gravity increases velocity and speed. When the wearer wishes to cease flying, they may do so at any time, even in mid-flight. And it's a value of 2,000 gold pieces. So cool. I like that this is all together. I'm sure there's things other than items in here as well. You know, we're looking at this first one, and it's got items, and then down here you've got part of a cavern crawl. So it's got a mix of things. So if you're into BX at all, or maybe want to use this as inspiration to create 5e stuff, then that's good. If you're out there, if you're a dungeon master and you're saying, hey, I want to do something my players have not seen at other tables, you might look to other versions of the game like OSR or BX and convert those, because if your players only play 5e, the likelihood that they've seen this is going to be much lower, right? So, or it can inspire something new. But I always like these trade paperbacks of zines, because you're going to get a lot of different things for the money. So look for Back to Basics in the links below, give it a click, and support this creator and the channel at the same time. Next we have Hawkwood Hideout. It's for Pathfinder, from Explorers Guild Publishing, with a suggested price of only 50 cents. And it's not only compatible with Pathfinder 2nd edition, but 3rd edition and 3.5 for D&D. Crime runs rampant throughout the streets. The guards, already strained beyond their limits, can do nothing about the now daily robberies. In desperation, they turn to wanderers. In exchange for their service and silence, the guards offer a reward to break the most dangerous group of criminals. Okay. It's a short adventure that can serve as a one-shot session, introduction to D&D, or a supplemental quest to an ongoing campaign. So a lot of versatility in its uses there. Let's take a look. It looks like the full preview was not working when we recorded this, but a lot of times the creators, because they get notified right when I post this, they'll update that full-size preview before you even watch this. So give it a click and check the full-size preview on your own if you want. It is 11 pages, so they've got nice wizard style layout with the stat blocks and the info blocks here, so you get to see a little bit of it laid out. So this is kind of setting up the adventure, and then it's talking about part 1, and it's giving you one of the creatures that you're going to encounter. So it looks fun. If you're looking for something for Pathfinder or 3rd edition, this is a good option for you, and it's super cheap. You can even change the price, but I recommend paying something, because these creators do work hard on that. So look for Hawkwood Hideout in the links below. Next we have Lost Throne of Talukeld the Broken from Kabooter Games, and it's an adventure module. It's on sale for $2.95, normally $4.95. The author is R.P. Davis. It's 10 pages, and it's meant for OSR or 5th edition, according to this. So looking at your settings here, Kabooter Games, you guys don't have it listed as 5e, but you say 5e up here, so you might want to correct that just so you can make sure that 5th edition people can find it as well. It says it was originally written for Spears and Spells, but has been adapted for 5th edition. It is specifically designed as a one-shot adventure, providing approximately 4 hours of entertainment for players and beginning characters. It says Talukeld the Broken was a leader of a great horde of warriors who swept in from the west, conquering the known world. It is said that his throne, made from the bones of his enemies, has manifested numerous magical powers. The kingdom of Kreequatha is threatened. An army of giants with invasion in mind is massing on Kreequatha's borders. The adventurers have been called to the palace of King 𝙤𝙤𝙤𝙤𝙤, where they are tasked with questing for the lost throne. So it sounds cool that you're going to be looking for a throne and helping basically prevent this invasion by an army of giants, presumably. Let's take a look and see inside. So you get to see all 10 pages. So again, no reason when that happens not to take a look. It doesn't hurt at all to just look through. And if you see something you want to use, then be sure to purchase it. But got a nice little map here at the end for the Lost Shrine, and then you've got your stat blocks. So you've got a cult leader, cultist, guardian statue, and here's the Lost Throne is a magic item, and then there's another one called Talukeld's Spear. We'll look at those in a minute. But here's the information. Nice layout, font, all that stuff. Computer games usually does a good job with all that. And yeah, let's take a look down here at the Lost Throne. It says a person who sits on the Lost Throne can cause the faithful dead to rise and fight under their command. Okay, so that's a really powerful, legendary item here. Very cool, though. That would be awesome to be able to just sit on the throne and summon zombies or other dead to your aid. It says while you sit on the Lost Throne, you can use one of its 10 charges to cast the Animate Dead spell, as though you'd use the 5th level spell slot to do so. This power comes with a cost. Each time you use the Lost Throne in this way, you take 1d8 necrotic damage. This damage can't be reduced in any way, and your hit point maximum is reduced by that amount until you finish a long rest. The Lost Throne regains 1d8 plus 2 expended charges daily at dusk. If you expend the last charge, roll a d20 on a 1. The Lost Throne crumbles into a pile of ancient, brittle, non-magical bones. So yeah, you could even just use this throne elsewhere. But I think it's really cool, and maybe when it crumbles to dust, it reappears somewhere else, right? Could be in Ravenloft or something, because it's kind of got that creepy feel to it. But I like this. It seems like it's a fun one, and very nicely laid out, straightforward, organized, and R.P. Davis is a good writer, so I'm expecting this will be enjoyable for those familiar with R.P. Davis's work. So yeah, look for Lost Throne of Talukeld in the links below. Give it a click and get it while it's on sale, only $2.95. Next we have Maze of the Screaming Heads, an adventure for 3 to 5 PCs, level 5 to 7 for OSR, including Labyrinth Lord. It says 97 years ago, the cult of Malphas created the greatest library of arcane lore ever collected, the Maze of 𝘬𝙤𝙬𝙧. They invited sages and luminaries from all over to witness its consecration. When the guests arrived, the cultists set upon them, beheading every sage and trapping their minds inside their undead skulls to serve as the source of the library's lore. Wow, that's a cool setup. I like that. So yeah, they took all these knowledgeable people and basically enslaved them in their minds to be able to make a library that had unique offerings. That's definitely unique. And so it's a fun little adventure, it sounds like. It takes place in a maze-like crypt full of insane undead heads whose babble provides constant distraction, leaving PCs vulnerable to surprise by monsters that use hit-and-run tactics to whittle them down. So you're kind of surrounded by this chatter, and you're getting these hit-and-run attacks on your party, so it definitely sounds like something I haven't seen before, so I like that this is rather unique. To escape the dungeon once trapped inside, the PCs must either make an unholy alliance with an undead cultist, find the needed clues for the puzzle by finding the few sane heads, slay a deadly monster, or sell their souls to a demon prince. So I also like that they've got multiple ways to resolve this adventure. A lot of the modules have one way in and one way out, and it's much better to give people options. But sounds really fun. It says it also makes use of heavy environmental hazards and over 45,000 gold pieces worth of treasure, including lore and delicate crumbling books. You can earn up to 14,000 XP. So very fun. It says not enough experience for 6th level thieves or clerics to gain a level, but that's okay. Still do a lot with it. It's from Death Trap Games. They don't have a page count here listed, but presumably it's got all the pages you need. You can see 6 of them here. So here's looks like a handout of sort of hexagonal shaped dungeon, which is cool, or this little maze. And nice artwork here. And then here's your encounter table of who you would encounter in the various places. It looks like there's multiple levels. And then here are some links to some of the other games that you can enjoy, it looks like. Maybe ones, like, because they've got Labyrinth Lord, Old School, Essentials, so it kind of helps you maybe find the rule set if you don't have an OSR one already. And then tips for getting the PCs involved, and then information on the town. So let's look at some of this. It says an otherworldly fungal blight has infected the plants and animals around the PC's home base. A little research has shown them that a similar blight was cured by a sage named Tobin 102 years ago, but he was last heard from on his way to witness the consecration of the maze of 𝙎𝙤𝙘𝙀. So leads you right to that maze where all these babbling heads are going to be. Presumably he's one of those. That's a cool little hook. And there's other ones listed here. And then you've got 𝙤𝙬𝙀𝙀, a small town on a grassy hill overlooking a relatively warm bay, sun-dappled beech tree woods, and several inlets full of papyrus reeds and water lilies make it a beautiful location. So nice little set in the scene there. Seems like well-written text here. Nice artwork. So if you're looking for an OSR adventure with a maze and some babbling heads for $4, it is here for you under Maze of the Screaming Heads, and the links to take you to DriveThruRPG. Next we have Midderzine, more green for your game. This is a issue 6 from Monkey Blood Design. It's $5.50 for 44 pages. It's for OSR, Labyrinth Lord, Swords and Wizardry. It says this is a fanzine for the Midderlands campaign setting for old school games. Although the Midderlands was written for Swords and Wizardry, it works with all old school games and retro clones with little to no conversion. And it's got articles including Meet the Midderlander, More Juicy Rumors, Gloomium, The Lowdown, Currency Thoughts, and other articles here. And then they talk about ways you can get a softcover copy. And look at how nice it looks. Look at the beautiful art. So seems like it'd be a fun supplement for OSR, but let's take a look inside. You get to see 4 of the 44 pages. And it looks like we're in the middle of the book somewhere. So they've got the Punched Muculus Tavern in Burnton has been ravaged by a mysterious fire that started in the early hours of the morning. Patrons awoke to smoke-filled rooms as the fire took hold of the eastern wing of the structure. They reported seeing laughing faces in the flames. A Burnling merchant, Pokskoon Thassel, known for trading in barbell oil, was seen trying to sell large quantities of the fire-resistant liquid to the tavern owner the following morning. Patrons also remember seeing him in the streets nearby a few days before. So you get some sort of background or rumors here. Maybe you're investigating something. So Gloomium, it's a material in this campaign, so it sounds interesting. This is found throughout the setting, gives the landscape its green tinges, its unexplained happenstances, and its danger. So special thing is here, it's found in veins of the solid form and sometimes as small pools of liquid everywhere in the Midler gloom. It can also be found in the form of crystals of varying size, larger pools of liquid, and as gas emitted from strangely shaped vents in the rock. So, got a fun little material, and then here's a whole section on what its effects are, how it glows in the dark, and it's used as a source of illumination with some nice little line art to supplement that, and then how to handle it, duration before its effects start, all that good stuff. So yeah, you're going to get a mix of stuff in here that you can use for your OSR stuff, maybe even convert it. I mean, you could probably convert that material we just looked at to 5th edition. So if you're looking for just sort of a mixed bag of stuff, this issue 6 might be right up your alley. So look for Midderzine in the links below and give it a click. Next we have Oath of the Sun Paladin Subclass by Micah Raymond. and it's for 5th edition. It is 4 pages at a suggested price of $1. Under pay what you want. It says, the sun is above all, and so are those that worship it. A paladin that has taken the oath of the sun has seen it for all its glory and risen above the common mortals to become something greater. The oath of the sun is about absolute power and the judgment of others with that power to uphold the tenets. Those that swear this oath are devoted to the gods of the sun and sunlight itself, often treating those with weaknesses to the sun with disdain, such as vampires or drow. And they've also got a magic item in here, Axe of the Sun, capable of storing sunlight and using it as a weapon. And it's been play tested, so that's cool. Let's take a look. And so yeah, you've got the whole setup here with the tenets, because you need those if you're doing a paladin oath, and then you've got your oath spells, and then some information, behind the scenes information down here. So let's look at one of the abilities, Sunlight. Starting at 15th level, whenever you are in sunlight, you have advantage on ability checks and saving throws. In addition, your daylight spell counts as sunlight. Nice. Okay. So you're pretty much getting to see the whole book with this preview, so there's no reason not to look through it, see if it's something you like, and support this creator. It says Axe of the Sun here, weapon Great Axe. It's an artifact, an axe capable of absorbing sunlight and storing it. It can store up to 4 hours of sunlight. For each hour stored, the wielder can cast Flame Sphere without concentration. They can use more hours at one time to cast at a higher spell level. So, fun little artifact there. It sticks with the theme of Oath of the Sun. So it's a nice twist. A lot of times when you get subclasses, you don't really get anything else with them. So it's nice that they've added this weapon with it. And the art, nice art on the front. So check it out under Oath of the Sun Paladin down below in the links. Next we have Ready to Run Village, the Village of Cambry from R.J. Smith. It's 5th edition at $2.49 for 10 pages. It's a ready-to-play and fully realized village location that can be dropped straight into your 5th edition game with little to no prep. The small rural village of Cambry has been relatively quiet and prosperous recently, though this was not always the case. Raids from lizard folk, unlikely allies, moonshine, mysteries, quests, jobs, favors, and drunken bears will keep your party entertained and will spark the imagination for both you and your players. Numerous story hooks, NPCs, quests, and possibilities await inside. So it says you've got locations of note, residents of note, local gossip and news, plot hooks, encounters, map of the town, 2 maps of the local area, and a magic item. So, and they're going to make this a series, so Ready to Run is a series on locations and points of interest that can be easily dropped in. So you've got kind of a sample map here as well. So let's see what the interior shows here. So you can see half of the book with 5 of the 10 pages here. So you've got information on the village, all of this in here. Trade, produce, and goods. Information on defending the village, and then some locations of note. We'll look at one of those in a minute. And then here's some of the residents of note. So, Copper Grendelson, a dwarven smith, as broad as she is tall and normally very drunk. Copper became enamored with the local moonshine and moved to the village to earn enough coin to keep the potent drink flowing. Currently, she is surly and hungover. The latest batch has yet to arrive, and her supply has run dry. Her cravings are getting the better of her mood. A promising student of a master smith and weapons maker, Copper has fallen low with addiction. So, and then there's like keywords, kind of, so if you want to quickly just reference this person without having to read the paragraph, maybe you're in the middle of the game, you can kind of just get these keywords and just start portraying that character for your players. Yeah, scrolling up here, they've got some information on the village. Let's look at one of the places as well. So you've got Morelda's General Store, a 3-storied wooden building with a fresh gray slate roof, stands impeccable amid a bustling hive of activity. as the village prepares to send its final shipment. Standing on the steps leading to the main entrance to the building is an immaculately dressed female goblin, answering questions, checking lists, and anxiously glancing off to the north. Stacks of masterfully crafted furniture, crates, logs, tools, and pelts are rapidly filling several carts and wagons. A huge man with a deep booming voice is helping secure loads, sharing a joke, and slapping the drivers on the back. Good in good humor. So some little activity going on in your village. So it's just ready to run. You know, you've got this map. You can set anything here. You got kind of background on all the different places and people. So if you need a village quickly, you can just snap this up for $2.49 and off you go. And it's nice that they're going to make that a series of, you know, locations. And, you know, you never know when you're going to need to just pull out a village, right? Here's a quick one for you. So look for Ready to Run Village in the links below and give it a click. Next we have Rimholm Dagbok Midderzine campaign accessory for $12 from the Chalk Horse. 72 pages, and it's for OSR. So it's a Torchbearer Midderzine campaign accessory. The journal zooms into a whole region of the Midderzine from the Saki Downs to the 𝙬𝙤𝙬𝙧𝙬𝙀 Sea, with lore for dozens of adventure sites. The hub of this region is Rimholm, and from any direction your adventuring party travels, there are rewards and dangers everywhere they go. Written from the first-person perspective of an unnamed Dwargar adventure, the Rimholm Dagbok chronicles the dwarf's arrival and misadventures in Rimholm. Learn as much about life in Rimholm as the Nidavellir, the deep kingdom and home of the Dwargar. Rumors of curses and mad kings fill the taverns, and the dwarf author learns about the uncanny parallels between these two kingdoms. This is written for players and GMs alike to provide rumors to explore and to reward your return to town. The Dagbok is not your typical campaign accessory. It's designed to appear as an in-game artifact that provides vivid details. It's got 72 pages and black and white illustrations, and I think it's cool when you have these in-game artifact things. I also like things written in the first person. The interior, inside preview just shows the map, but look at how beautiful it is, right? Very well done, classic style. I wish we could see a little sample, if you're watching Chalk Horse, of the writing of this adventure that is in the first person. You could maybe even do like just an image in the catalog text here, so they might add that by the time you guys are watching this video, because I think that's fascinating that you've got this character with this voice that we're going to read from their point of view, and I think it'd be good to show some of that. But the cover looks nice, you know, like an in-game artifact would, and the concept is really strong. So, you know, check this out by clicking the link Rimholm Dagbok and the links below, because like I said, they might add more stuff since I've recorded this, so that you can see a little more. You know, it's got a lot of pages and a high price, so I know people will want to see more. Let's see if the quick preview has some stuff too. You know, it's just still got that map, so hopefully they can add a little more we can see here, but I'm interested, so I would check it out if you're looking for an in-game artifact for sure. Next up we have Rise of the Raven Prince from the DM Tool Chest. It's 35 cents at a pay what you want price, so that's pretty cheap. It's 10 pages, 5th edition. It's first level adventure. To stop an undead necromancer from raising an army in the catacombs of an abandoned temple. So we're seeing lots of necromancy undead stuff today. We had that adventure earlier with the throne, you know, the maze with the babbling heads, all that stuff, right? So maybe this week's theme is undead and you know, zombies and things like that. Set is for 3 to 5 characters at first to second level, optimized for a party of 4 characters with an average party level of 1. Characters who complete this adventure should earn enough experience to reach second level. An undead necromancer is raising minions in the catacombs of an abandoned temple. Takes place in the Freelands campaign setting, but fits into any existing campaign with an ancient temple and catacombs with only a few modifications. So got the backstory here. It says Razul was once a vibrant young man who lived a simple life learning magic with the shaman of a nomadic tribe living in the Sargoth Plains. The tribe affectionately dubbed him the Raven Prince because he was the chieftain's son, and his raven familiar Lucius never left his side. The orc raiders that tore through the tribe shattered his idyllic life, and he became the sole survivor of his people, barely escaping with his life. For years he sought a way to gain the power he needed to hunt down the orcs and enact his revenge. That's a really cool setup. And it's got a VTT ready map, ambience background music, and a token. Wow, all for 35 cents. I mean, that's a screaming deal, I would say, and it's already got a 5-star rating, so what's not to love here? I really like this cover art, and it just gives you that feel again of the dark undead stuff, and inside you got so you get to see all 10 pages, so it's pretty much free to read the whole thing. Here's your new monsters, with your stat blocks here at the end. Yeah, I think they do good work at the DM tool chest, and this is another example, and I'm really amazed that it's this cheap to purchase it. So I know it's only 10 pages, but still that's quite a good price. So thank you to those guys for offering that. Alright, so let's read a little bit here. It says, the catacombs. The entrance to these catacombs sits among the rubble of a temple overlooking a small lake. An earthquake decimated the building and cracked the underground catacombs beneath the temple, creating vast chasms and flooding parts of it. The priests abandoned the temple, and it lay empty for decades before the Raven Prince claimed it for himself. With the help of Skaldrot Imbermaul, the necromancer has slowly begun to exhume the skeletons of the interred to raise them as undead minions. So, very fun backstory. I like that, the Raven Prince started as somebody normal, and then became twisted by what happened to his life. So I think it's a great setup. Gorgeous art throughout here. Can't beat the price. You got a map, everything covered here. I would definitely recommend checking this out. Look for Rise of the Raven Prince in the links below. Give it a click, purchase it, support the DM tool chest and the channel at the same time. Next we have Elemental Blade Roguish Archetype from Crit Academy. It's a roguish archetype for those who wish to harness primordial energies through their weapons, and it's for 5th edition. $1.95, 5 pages. It says, while many rogues often rely on precision strikes and deadly blows to deal with a foe, the Elemental Blade prefers to release torrents of magical energy through their weapons to get the job done. Around the world, there are many different ways to access magical power: divine power granted by gods, understanding the weave of magic, innate power, etc. But there are more that have yet to be discovered. The Elemental Blade can tap into the primordial forces that govern nature. They draw the power into themselves and hold it for a short time. They can then release the hoarded power through a conduit, usually a blade or arrow. Not only does this enhance their attacks, but the release of primordial power often alters the very land around the point of release. So you have an elemental aspect that you channel, and then you gain appropriate features to your sneak attack. So Aspect of the Flame, your sneak attack damage is fire instead of its normal type. On a hit, a small explosion of fire surges from the target to a different creature of your choice that you can see within 10 feet of it. The second creature takes fire damage equal to your spellcasting ability modifier, and then the damage increases over time. And then there's other aspects. So very cool sounding, fun archetype, subclass for your rogue. It's I like that it deals with primordial, because you don't really see that a lot, even though it is something that is around. So I think that's very cool. You get to see 2 of the pages here, and it's got some little lore tables here in the beginning, kind of introducing everything, and I think that's fun as well, giving the subclass more life. I love when you see that with subclasses. Again, anything that can go with a subclass beyond just the rules text. You'll see in my upcoming my next 2 books, I've got subclasses, and we don't just have the rules text. We have lore tables and quotes and things to add to it. It's more fun when you do that. So always happy to see that in publications out there. you can just throw out the rules text, but when you add, a magic item like we saw in that one earlier, or this case where they've added these nice lore tables, 3 in fact, I think that's awesome. So good job, Crit Academy, as usual. Check it out on DriveThruRPG. Click the link Rogue Elemental Blade down below to give it a try. Next up we have Shiny Sundry of Animated Objects from Shiny Press at $5.99, 28 pages, authors Gabriel Pereira and Gabriel Ribeiro. It's got 9 monsters, 14 items, 1 familiar, and a bunch of lore related to animated objects. And it's for 5th edition. I think there's a 5th edition option too, so a box you can check to signify it's 5th edition, so you might want to add that if you're watching Shiny Press, just to help people find it a little better. Want to make sure people looking for 5th edition on DriveThru do find your title. Alright, so I love that cover art, very cool art. Let's take a look inside. You get to see 5 of the 28 pages, and it seems like we're getting to see stuff in the middle, but that's cool because we get to see some of the artwork, and very nice artwork. So you've got Arcane Bookmark, a bookmark made of leather and decorated with an hourglass motif. Ink drips inside the illustration, indicating the time spent preparing spells. You can place the bookmark on a page of your spellbook with a spell copied into it, and if you do it, you can't change its placement until the end of a long rest. While a page is bookmarked, you can, when you take a short rest, exchange one of your prepared spells with the bookmark spell. Okay, that's a really thematic, cool ability. Bookmarks certainly would be available back, in olden times, because, as long as there were books, you would have needed to mark where you left off, right? So why not have a bookmark that works with spells and allows you to swap something? I think that's a really cool technique to give some people flexibility, especially if they have a limited spell set. You're going to have that ability to swap it out. And it's got an animated book, Archives of the Ages, a construct here, so some monsters in here. With all this book theme stuff, this could work really well with Candlekeep Mysteries as well. I like that. Or just anything. We saw the thing earlier with the library with all the severed heads, so it could work with that. But yeah, you can always do something with book stuff. So the Spirit of Intellect. Within the elemental plane of air, there's a class of beings called the Spirits of Intellect. They are creatures who embody the aspect of rationality present in the unlimited skies of said plane of existence, and the winds which blow in it and carry knowledge and thought. So, fun little spirit they're talking about here. But I like these creatures. You got an animated book, and then another item called the Permission Quill. We're not going to read all the items, but I think you should check this out, read through this preview, and consider purchasing it, because it seems like there's a lot of fun stuff in here. 9 different monsters, 14 items, and a familiar, so good amount of stuff for $5.99. So click the link down below under Shiny Sundry and check it out. Next we have SM07 under Mirt's Folly. It's a World of Barniania production and Durominin University Press. It's for Osric, Old School Essentials, OSR, all that good stuff. And it says it's a new 200 plus location mega dungeon from Durominin University Press. Special release pricing of less than $3 until the end of the month. So yeah, $2.99 right now instead of $4.95 if you want to get these 109 pages. It says Mirt the Long Flame was a mighty wizard of years gone by. He fell in love, so the story goes, with a beautiful goddess. Using all his powers, he built his true love a temple and a pleasure palace with the intention of making her his wife. On a midsummer's eve, he bent all his powers to calling her down to him, luring her to our world with the sweetest compliments and tempting gifts. After several hours of calling, she appeared, and he proposed to her, explaining the wonderful life together he had planned for them. She was not amused. The blasted remains of the temple and the derelict palace, all made from the finest white marble, are all that remains of Mirt's crazy ambitions, and they are now known as Mirt's Folly. So it's a fun little setup there. He had some unrequited love, and it cost him, but it created this cool little scenario for a party of 48 characters for levels 5 to 8. But it says Osric OSR 1st and 2nd edition D&D and any fantasy RPG that you fancy. More than 100 pages with 250 encounter locations over 8 levels, 4 wandering monster tables, a rumor table, new and inventive uses of all kinds of monsters, powerful new magic items, tricks, traps, and treasure. So, sounds like a lot of fun for $3, guys. You know, and a 200 plus location mega dungeon, that doesn't come along very often, you know, especially for $2.99. So let's see if we can see inside. Yep. And you get to see 15 of the 109 pages. So, cool little adventure with hooks, all this stuff, wandering monsters. I love that they included the wandering monsters tables as well. So you got a Dungeon Master's introduction, all that good stuff. And then you got some nice little maps in here. So yeah, to get a good feel for it, looking through here, I like how it looks. Let's see what it says. It says if the party approaches the lake first from the east along the garden path or similar, then they will see the view as described in map 4A area 1. So okay, so that they're kind of describing what you would see if you stroll up that way. And then you got this rumor table that looks fun. It says in the center of the temple is a sumptuous bower decorated with precious sapphires and emeralds and graveled with diamonds. And this is a false rumor. I love when the rumor table tells you whether it's true or false. It says the folly is built from white marble, imported especially from Elven Isle, which is true. So fun rumors. And then there's like a curse here that's talking about Mirt's folly, history and background. Lots of stuff. Lots of stuff. And it's compatible with so many different versions. From author Simon Miles. Look for it under SM07 under Mirt's Folly in the links below. Give it a click, get it before it goes off of the sale here, and support this creator as well as the channel. Next we have Spells of the Ages. It's from Ian Publishing, and you can get the PDF for $9.99, the softcover standard color book, or both for the same price. So all of these are the same price, which is pretty cool. And the authors are Anthony Jennings, Giltonio Santos, Elizabeth Orchard, Andrew Englebright, and William Fisher. Contains 38 new spells, a new school of ecomancy for wizards, plus rules for upcasting 19 spells from the 5th edition core rules. Says Secrets of Nature's Fury. These 10 new spells are new additions to the druid's repertoire and represent the cornucopia of blessing that nature shares with her greatest allies. A handful of these spells are available for rangers as well. And then Strands of Life, 11 new healing spells for the cleric, bard, druid, paladin, or ranger. And it takes a brief look at direct healing, damage mitigation, and gradual healing. And then you've got Nature Magic Echomancy. Nature, where we are in it, and it is in us. You can't escape it, but you can study it, learn from it, and just maybe with a little magic take control of it. We're not talking about druids, though. We're talking wizards. Get your mage out of the Keep's library and into the world with the School of Ecomancy and these 8 new nature-themed spells. Ride in style using Conjure Nature's Slay, send forest text via the Grapevine cantrip, lay waste to foes with Seed Bomb, or see the world through innumerable fungal eyes with Spore Sight. And then several other things. Masterpiece renditions. There is magic and music, and few melodies contain as much nuanced power as the suite of sublime spells. And then Archmagic, some magic finds its way into the repertoire of nearly every sorcerer and wizard, yet they linger on in spell lists and left unused as more potent options become available. But this need not be the case. This article presents new options for upcasting 19 of the most common spells, ranging from Ultra Self all the way down the line to Web. So, fun stuff here. Eon Publishing does a lot of work, puts out a lot of stuff, and it's usually very good stuff. And this sounds like no exception, and great prices to get even the PDF book and book together for the same price. So I like that, and I like that there's a variety of spells, and upcasting here is a cool concept. Making some of these stale spells that maybe aren't getting used or looked at by your players, or by you if you are a player. You can maybe upcast them, and if you are a player watching this, books like this, you can get them and show it to your DM and say, hey, can I try this? Would you be cool with me using it? It's really up to your DM whether you can use it or not, but you know, this is for 5th edition, and you know, maybe there's a DM out there that would let you give some of this a try, even if it's just one spell. It might not hurt to give it a try. So yeah, very cool. Check it out. Spells of the Ages down below in those links. Next we have Supers and Sorceries, the Lunar Knight from Daylight Publications, $2, and it's for 5th edition. It says, you were once lost, wandering the woods, desert, or mountains of 𝙬𝙤 without a path or guide. Only the Mother Moon was there to help you past kaiju and supervillains. In time, you came to see her for who she truly was, a well source of power and a light for all to see and love, perhaps even a titan in and of herself. That is when you were found by the Lunar Knight, striking warriors of silver, blue, white, and violet, who took to you and trained you, transforming your love for the Mother Moon into something truly powerful. It's a subclass built for more supernatural or horror-themed adventures, but there are more unique ways you can weave it into your campaign. It says pick from 1 of 5 charters: new moon, crescent moon, half moon, gibbous moon, and full moon, all with unique and different powers based on the phase of the moon. And you've got some amazing art, it says. So it doesn't say how many pages, but we'll see if we can look inside here. Nice, fun, cosmic themed look to the pages. So yeah, you can see all this cool little pixel art in here. It says, embrace the night. At 18th level, you ascend to truly being a guardian of the moon. You are no longer fully human. Your creature type is now celestial. You no longer need to eat, sleep, or breathe. You are resistant to non-magical bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage, and you gain a flying speed of 40 feet. Additionally, once per lunar cycle, if you die, you disappear into a column of moonlight and are reborn, as if brought back to life by a true resurrection spell. When your charter's phase next shines, if you die a second time within the same lunar cycle, you remain dead. So it's good that they have a way out of that, in case the DM wants to let the character stay dead for whatever reason. Always good to give a way out. Try to do that in my books. Yeah, so fun artwork, really cool little concept focusing on the moon, and it seems like based when you pick a charter, then the moon, the phase of the moon becomes important. So very fun stuff. If you're looking for something lunar, look for Supers and Sorcery, the Lunar Knight, down below in those links. Next we have Tomb of the Screaming Snakes for Mork Borg. It is 50 cents suggested price on Pay What You Want. It says, somewhere in the Sarkosh forest you can find a group of standing stones among the dying trees. They are covered in runes and depictions of snakes, either eating or copulating with humans. The stones are the last remains of a snake cult, its mutated members not seen by the world in centuries. Did they die out? Or are they just biding their time until the cursed humans are too weak to stand against the cult of the screaming snakes? And it's a third-party dungeon, so this is not like an official Mork Borg supplement. This is third-party, which is cool. I love that Mork Borg allows that. But it looks like it's also compatible with other OSR games, and it's 6 pages. And looking inside, you've got this cool maps. I love that this is not top down, but it's cutaway view. Those are fun maps when you have a cutaway view. And a couple of them here with labels, etc. And then here's everything that you would encounter. I might have to zoom in here to be able to read a little bit of it to you. So it says, small lair, the dried up remains of a giant spider that starved to death. Disturbing the body causes it to explode in a cloud of poisonous spores. Test toughness DR 12 or infected. So yeah, fun, dark, Mork Borg style adventure, and it's only 50 cents, so can't beat that price. It's from Sorchi Games and Carl Eric Inkfist, and it just seems like it could be a fun time if you're into Mork Borg. It's becoming more popular. It's the only Mork Borg I think we have this week. So if you need some new Mork Borg, this is your option. Go to Tomb of the Screaming Snakes in the links below. Next we have a Twilight Camp by Tabletop Totality, suggested price of $3 on Pay What You Want, and it's 14 pages. It says the encounter is our last for Act 1 of the Adventures of Thistledown campaign setting. It is meant for a party of 45 players at level 5 to 6. It's similar to all the other adventures in the series. You can use it anywhere in your campaign, just change some of the details. Many have started to find places of prominence in the town of Thistledown during its chaotic times. One of these groups is the Hall of Heroes, led by 𝙁𝙗𝙗, an half-orc gladiator. The Hall of Heroes hopes to make a name for themselves by actively hunting down some of the threats to the city. In this adventure, your parties will help this group in their mission, and possibly even become part of the Hall of Heroes Guild themselves. 𝙁𝙗𝙗 believes that one of the ways they can prove her point and propel the guild to glory is by calling some of the treacherous hobgoblins that now populate the forest at the base of Mount 𝙁𝙗𝙗. She will be searching for any group that looks strong or willing enough to take up the quest in the name of the Hall of Heroes. So fun little setup there. And so here's your look inside. You get to see all 14 pages, so again, no reason not to take a look. Cool little camp map going on here. And you got your monsters, and then variations on the maps. Oh, including a night version, grid no grid, so that's cool. Let's take a look up here. So you got your magic item tables. Read a little bit somewhere in here. So monsters in the wood. There's been much talk of creatures in the woods throughout all of Thistledown, ranging from wicked mushrooms that will steal anything shiny to raiding parties of goblins that will take everything you have, including your life, if you wander aimlessly in the woods near Mount 𝙁𝙗𝙗𝙗. Sadly, with the trouble happening inside of Thistledown, the mayor has not had time or resources enough for his own guard to be able to investigate these reports. As the party is sitting in a local tavern or inn getting ready, or perhaps winding down for the day, they will be approached by a halfling. The halfling is dressed in garb that is similar to that of the guards. Under a closer inspection, you notice that there are no symbols of the city guard located on the armor anywhere. The halfling is a chaotic good male veteran scout named Petron Fastfoot. He has sent from the Hall of Heroes to go to the local taverns and inn to recruit strong travelers to bolster the ranks of his guild. The party is easy to notice as adventurers because not many regular denizens of Thistledown wear armor or are adorned in weapons like we presume the party would be. So yeah, kind of interesting hook here. There's somebody from a guild going out and recruiting, and that could be your party. So that's a nice little angle. So yeah, check it out under Twilight Camp in the links below and give it a try. Next we have Ultimate Character Themes Volume 1. It's for 4th edition of Dungeons & Dragons. It's the first time we've had 4th edition since we started this series of videos. And it was actually meant to be included in last week's video, and somehow when I was clicking through the tabs I skipped over it, and I was bummed because we haven't had any 4th edition stuff since we released this series. So I included a bonus title this week so that I could give you the usual 20 plus one, since I missed this one last week and I didn't want to miss out on that. So it's 95 pages, already got a 5-star rating, and it says a trove of new content for players and DMs alike for 4th edition. 26 complete character themes, each with unique abilities and optional powers. Classics and favorites like Arcane Archer, the Dragon Disciple, and the Spellfire Wielder. Paragon Pass to take your themes into the next tier. Feats to boost your character theme abilities and powers. Varied rules to add time travel to your campaign. New creatures for your Dark Necromancer to raise. 6 new rituals and over 150 new powers. So lots of stuff in these 95 pages for $7.99. Let's take a look inside. I like this cover art, very nice, and you get to see the old school 4th edition logo. I know 4th edition wasn't everyone's favorite, but there are people that like it and play it, and you can always adapt stuff, right? So I definitely think it's fun that somebody's putting out something new for 4th edition. So you've got your character concepts here, Paragon Paths, feats, chronomancy rules, rituals, and then it looks very 4th edition, this layout as well, which is nice. So yeah, you're getting to see 7 of these 95 pages, and we'll read a little bit here about the academic sorcerer. To the common folk, a mage is a mere practitioner of arcane magic, but those initiated to the arcane arts know better, and arcanists divide themselves along strict lines of magical tradition. To the wizard, magic is a science to be studied and mastered through the use of arcane formulas. But to the sorcerer, magic rises within them like a song in their blood to which they must give voice. The sorcerer has no need to study magic, that does not mean that they are unable to do so. The academic sorcerer is one who has learned how to turn the mystical power in their blood towards a more scholarly channel of magic. The academic sorcerer studies the same arcane formulas, alchemy, and symbols as the wizards, and learns to master some of the very same spells while bringing to bear the might of their sorcerer's lineage to cast the same spells as no wizard ever could. Sorry, reading this poorly, but you get the idea. So it's like a combination of a sorcerer and a wizard, which is fun. You know, I'm sure people have asked, okay, I'm a sorcerer and I'm born with these powers, but why can't I also study magic? So this is kind of an answer to that, I guess, in saying you can. And here's how you do it. Here's how you set it up for 4th edition, and maybe it's adaptable to 5th. I'm not sure, but I'm just excited that people are still creating content for all the editions. We've had this episode, we've had BX, we've had 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, 3.5, 4th, and 5th. So we've had basically something for every edition in this video, guys. I mean, think about that. New release for every edition, plus Morkborg and these other things, right? So this game has legs for sure, right? Very exciting. Happy to see this. And I think there's probably a lot of fun ideas in here. You know, Paragon Pass, feats, chronomancy, rituals. I mean, tons of stuff. 95 pages of 4th edition content from Sage of Sorcery Productions, $7.99. Look for it under Ultimate Character Themes in the links below. Glad we got it in this week. Alright, now we have something for Warlock. It's called Warlock Wondrous from Fire Ruby Designs. It's on sale for $6.88 for that PDF, but you can also get a premium color book for $27.51, or for the same price, get both the premium color book and the PDF. It's written by Greg Saunders, and it says, supplement for Warlock, the old school role-playing game inspired by the early days of British tabletop gaming. It says it's OSR compatible as well. The kingdom is a place of magic, strange and rare, and the history books are full of wondrous items from distant, more enlightened times. Finding these precious things is a goal of any wizard. Undoubtedly, these things bring power, but beware, there's always a price to pay. So this is a collection of magical items that can be found in the treasure hoards and forgotten ruins of the kingdom, or any fantasy realm for that matter. Storied items, these magical treasures cast a light on the past of the kingdom for those that care to learn. So very, very cool. Let's take a look here at the inside. So you got, I always love the typography of Fire Ruby stuff. It's fun, easy to read, looks cool. So you've got types of magical item. So amulets, armor, books and scrolls, objects, potions, all kinds of stuff. And then it talks about attunement, crafting. So you're going to see 10 of the 91 pages. And here's a couple of the items, so we'll look at these. So Amulet of the Fiend. This amulet is in the shape of a grinning gargoyle. And it was constructed by Reuben Fess, the self-styled Great Fiend, a wizard of no little skill but very little morals. Fess collected a cult-like group of lesser followers who obeyed his every whim. His amulet allowed him to reward his followers and pay them in pleasure and pain for obeying or disobeying his commands. When he was murdered by agents of the king, his amulet was lost. The powers of the amulet says it allows the wearer to store up to 5 stamina for spell casting. It also allows the wearer to transmit feelings of joy or pain to those nearby that have an emotional connection to them. When the wearer does this, the game master should roll 1d20 on a result of 1. Both the target and the wearer of the amulet instead suffer 1d6 immediate stamina loss. Alright, so that's just one of the items. There's a bunch in here with cool line art, and you can get a print version as well, but this looks fun. I know a lot of people like Warlock. It's very well liked thing, so if you're looking for some new Warlock print options, this is a good one for you. And $6.88 is also a really good price for the PDF, so click Warlock Wondrous in the links below, take a look for yourself, and support this awesome product. Next we have Wasteland Wheels, which is 5th edition compatible, and it's from Spilled L Studios, and the subtitle is 5th edition vehicles for post-apocalyptic worlds, so it's obviously 5th edition. And it says it provides everything you need to add vehicles and vehicle encounters to your post-apocalyptic or modern era campaign. Inside you will find not just vehicle stat blocks and rules, but also new player options and an optional deck of cards designed to add more excitement to vehicle encounters. So, as you know, in addition to the large number of vehicle stat blocks, there's new options for your players, which is always good. Kind of a mix of things. So you got 7 new subclasses, one for each of the savage, scientist, scoundrel, scout, shepherd, and soldier. So they went with that alliteration there, and that's fun. All S's. And then vehicle modification subsystem, rules for crafting and repairing vehicles, and mods. 41 vehicle stat blocks, including civilian and military vehicles. So here's kind of a look inside. You can see they've got some fun artwork. It says new post-apocalyptic paths. Includes a selection of player options designed to supplement the character options, and we kind of mentioned those earlier. Oh, okay, so the savage is... Oh, I thought those were things they created. That's because I haven't played Modern. Those must be the classes in Modern or something. So they've got the Road Rager, Grease Monkey, Daredevil, Rough Rider, Convoy Commander, Combat Medic, and Gunner. Hyperlinked table of contents and bookmarks. So it's compatible with Wasteland Wheels and Wasteland Wanderers. So don't have to have that because it's 5th edition, but it's helpful, it sounds like. So very cool. I'm not sure if those are by the same publisher or not. If they are, I would recommend Spildell adding links in your description, because you can link to things that are available on the site. You just can't link to external sites. And they do offer a publisher preview, so let's take a look. The book is 133 pages, and you're getting to see 24 here. Love the art. I mean, this is really nice, cool art they've done. Really cool layout. Let's see if we can, yeah, we can shrink to the page size here. Yeah, look at this fun map with this radioactive symbols. Cool for post-apocalyptic. And then, yeah, you can see you can click on it and go to the various parts of the book. Then you got your archetypes. Yeah, I like the art, the fonts, all this stuff. It seems really cool. I'm just going to scroll through the whole thing for you. So here you're now getting into the stat blocks for the vehicles. So those can be really fun. Let's find something we can read for you here. To determine how far a vehicle can travel on its turn at macro scale, its macro speed in squares must be calculated. Vehicles don't have a macro speed entry on their stat block because macro speeds are relative and adjusted based on the fastest vehicle in the encounter. So it's giving you options for macro speed in the grid here, and showing you how they're laid out. So fun stuff with vehicles. It says when you run encounters on a grid, any encounters involving vehicles can occur at one of 3 scales: creature scale, vehicle scale, and macro scale. Okay, so it's giving you even options there. That's nice. Yeah, and you've got all your different character classes here. So Grease Monkey, pick this archetype if you want to specialize in vehicle construction and repair. Some of your features require their targets to make a saving throw. The saving throw DC of your botanist features equals 8 plus your proficiency bonus plus your intelligence modifier. So yeah, nicely laid out. Little art for all of these different characters and subclasses and maps. I mean, I think they've done a really beautiful job putting this together. And I like that it's a publisher preview because you can get really close and zoom in here on everything. Give it a good read before you make your purchase. But yeah, click Wasteland Wheels down in the links below. And this is our last drive-through title for the week. We're going to move on to DM's Guild. But before we do, please make sure you're following me on Twitter at Splinterverse. I'm going to be sharing some teasers for our upcoming Feywild book, and then after that we have Dragon's book as well. So I'm excited to start teasing some of that soon. The Feywild book's coming out in September, so very, very soon you'll be seeing that book. And please subscribe to the channel, click that like button, share the video with people, promote these creators, get the word out. Click the links down below and purchase anything, and that'll support the channel as well as the creators that you buy their books. And if you're feeling extra generous, consider purchasing one of my books. Potions Unlocked or Van Richten's Librum of Lineage is also linked below. Potions Unlocked is print on demand or digital. It's all about potions and taking them to the next level, as well as the Van Richten's Librum of Lineages, talking about lineages and optional rules for them, as well as 4 brand new ones that you can use in any setting, not just Ravenloft. And that one's only $2.99. So good options for you, and I do hope you check those out. Alright, on to DM's Guild. First DM's Guild title this week is 5 Assassins by Jack Terry at a pay-what-you-want price of 50 cents. It is 8 pages, and it's already got a 5-star review. And it says 5 deadly and not so deadly assassins that you can use to scare, challenge, or outright kill your player characters, or that your player just can hire if they need to get rid of an enemy, cause a distraction, or just silence a witness. They can also be used as bounties, background NPCs in a Thieves Guild, or rival assassins for your rogue character. Each assassin comes with a description, stat block, motivation, cost, and chance to succeed on their contracts. They range from CR 1-4 to 10. So very cool. Let's take a look inside, and you get to see 2 of the 8 pages. And it says, so you want someone taken care of. So kind of, again, playing on that angle of, you know, maybe you need to hire somebody, or you know, you need somebody to take on your characters. And then here's the assassins. So you've got Old Tommy, a human brawler, Nightshade Wood Elf Poisoner, Echo Doppelganger, Caro Half-Elf Soul Knife, and 𝙁𝙗𝙗𝙗 Human Vision of Death. And then down below you get to see more on Old Tommy. You got a quote. It says, I've worked in this city all my life. No one knows it better. You need something done quick and quiet, you come to me. So he's been around the block. It sounds like he costs 100 gold to hire, and he's got a 50% chance of succeeding. So here's some background on him, motivation, then his stat block. It says, motivation, Tommy didn't have much of a choice when it came to work. He'd spent his whole life on the streets and seen what happened to people with no money, no guts, and no respect. He decided that wasn't going to be him, and he went to work collecting protection money for small-time gangs. Yep, that's how it goes. So, yeah, it's fun that they have not only the stat blocks, but paragraphs on the motivation, paragraphs on the background, and then the chance to succeed on a contract, so you can kind of already know what your chances are, and you can roll it if you're the DM to get that, to find out, did it work? You know, players hired for 100 gold, and, you know, let me roll the die, and if it's an odd number on a D6, it's a success. If it's an even number, it's a failure, because you got that 50% there, or whatever, you know, roll whatever. But very cool assassins spelled out for you, ready to go, and 50 cents. Again, this week we had a ton of pay what you want, really good prices, including free stuff. So hopefully you guys are taking advantage of all that and supporting these creators. So click the link under 5 Assassins and give it a chance. Next we've got Abzan Houses and Dromoka Brood, Magic the Gathering Tarkir in D&D, from Noah Van Til for $2.99 at 12 pages. And the writer says, since there isn't any official or unofficial cons of Tarkir, Dragons of Tarkir content on the DM's Guild, I've decided to create some homebrew character options designed for use in the MTG setting of Tarkir. So that's a Magic the Gathering series of expansions they had, Cons of Tarkir, Dragons of Tarkir, and I feel like there was one more. I think there were 3 sets in that block. But anyway, it says it's got Enoch, which is a hound, wolf, dog, humanoid, Aven, a bird person, basically the Tarkir's version of Kakra, orc, human, the generic human, and many subclasses and spells for you to use in your campaign. And it's a supplement for both players and DMs, and it can also be used in the Dark Sun setting. So that's cool. Always use new stuff for that. And here we go. Here's some look at the interiors. Very nice art here. So yeah, scrolling through, you can see some art. I wonder where all this art came from. Looks like some pretty cool stuff. So it says, the massive wooden doors of the plaza of the first tree at last swung open behind the strength of 4 of her guards. Anafenza was standing in front of the amber throne to greet the first delegate as the clan's houses entered. The houses of Abzan didn't swear fealty to their Khan. Rather, they cultivated kinship through blood relations or binding oaths. Loyalties can change, Anafenza's mother once explained to her, but kinship is a sacred thing. So, yeah, very cool. This is the Abzan are a giant family living among the sand. In the south of Tarkir, they built impregnable fortresses among the dunes to protect their people within from either the elements or other clans. Their cities are both forts and trade centers. Some of them are mobile, pulled by giant mastodonte along trade routes. The Abzans fight with endurance, organization, and discipline to guard their home and family. They trust each other, for their duty is to protect their clan by destroying it, those who are threatening it. Yeah, so very cool. Yeah, this art all looks awesome. I'm really impressed that I got this. I feel like it's a lot of art from Magic the Gathering, so hopefully this is all approved, licensed art. If not, author, you might want to take it down and put some art in there from stock or something, because you do have to have permission since you are selling this. So make sure. This seems like a Magic the Gathering piece, but I'm not sure. Anyway, it's fun. Khans of Tarkir was a really cool set, and you've got some various subclasses and races to bring that plane to life. If you're a fan of Magic the Gathering. But I really think that's cool. I would love to see all of the Magic the Gathering planes, somehow on DM's Guild. Yeah, hopefully over time we'll get all of them on here. So it's nice to see some in this supplement as well. So yeah, check it out if you're looking for some Khans of Tarkir or Magic the Gathering content under Abzan houses in the links below. Next we have And Then There Was a Murder by Raymond Holding, and it's 17 pages. It says, a priestess has been slain and you are blamed. A strange mist has appeared, throwing the city into chaos. Ominous whispers claiming there is no escape are heard coming from the fog. Can you solve this crime and prove your innocence, or will you become another victim of the true killer? So it's designed for characters of levels 5 to 10. Average party level of 8. So it sounds like a fun, mysterious module. And so you've got the credit page, intro, adventure hooks, nice borders. I love the page borders and backgrounds here. And then looks like there's a doppelganger. And chapter 2, some cool creatures going on. So let's read a little bit of it. So adventure hooks. You have adventured into Waterdeep before. For whatever reason, you encountered Argon and gained her friendship and or respect. Now she has asked that you meet her at the Yawning Portal because she needs your help. So that's kind of one of the options for the hook. And then there's a doppelganger working at the Yawning Portal. It says, as everyone is enjoying a hearty meal of venison and fried potatoes at the insert name, a group of city watch soldiers enter the main room, looking about and then locking eyes on your group. The leader of this group, a young man wearing robes that identify him as a member of the Mages Guild, approaches your table. In a manner both polite and confrontational, he says, I would bid you good day, but considering the circumstances, I must forego any pleasantries and get to the point. I am Constable Marquez. You stand accused of a crime, murder. The victim claims one of you is the guilty party. I don't suppose anyone would like to confess. So, interesting that it's murder and the victim claims something. So they must have used a spell or something to get the details from the victim, because the victim, if it's murder, the victim is dead, right? But I'm sure it's explained in here somewhere, and we're not reading the whole thing. We're getting to see 6 out of 17 pages. But they look cool. I love the borders. I love the notion that there's a doppelganger and it's got Forgotten Realms. and the Yawning Portal involved. So, you know, hey, if you're looking for some Forgotten Realms fun, you could probably even move this to somewhere else. For $3.99, look for, and then there was Murder in the links below, and give it a click. Next we have Azalea's Archive Reimagined Content from Andrew Fishburne for $12.95 for 64 pages. The author says, have you ever seen a subclass that inspires you with this flavor so much that you feel ready to sit down, create a character, and write a backstory right then and there, only to find out much later that the mechanics did not deliver on the flavor the way you thought? Maybe you were lucky and your DM worked with you to homebrew the mechanics of the subclass to deliver the feel you were hoping for. Perhaps your DM sympathizes with your plight but is uncomfortable with homebrewing the subclass with you. Well, do not fear. Azalea has decided to share her archive of reimagined content with the world. So Azalea is this character created by the author, it looks like, and maybe not, maybe it's a wizard's one that I'm just unfamiliar with. But the book has 3 reimagined races: Centaur, Minotaur, and Variant Human. 27 reimagined subclasses. So, and it looks like pretty much one for everything other than Artificer here. And then 13 reimagined feats. There's a bundle down here, so keep that in mind. Looks like there's another title maybe for this subclass that you can get them together. And the bundle price is only a little bit more than this price, so you could get both together. But I do like this notion of people offering alternative takes, you know, homebrew versions of you know, or house rules versions of things. So we're getting to see 12 of the 64 pages, but you can see here, okay, the variant Centaur. And we'll just read a little bit of this. The Centaur was always going to be a difficult race to accomplish in 5th edition. Unlike 3rd edition, there aren't clear rules for how a creature's size affects their mechanics. It seems as if the designers had originally intended to ever have a playable race that was a creature size other than small or medium. So when the Centaur was introduced, it seemed like they were forced to be a medium creature rather than providing rules or guidance on playing a large creature. This publication reimagines the Centaur playable race as a large creature. Comes with pros and cons, and so that's cool. And you know, it changes everything here, and you've got some variations to how it works. And then you've got your Minotaur and a Variant Human, and then your subclasses. It says there are 3 overarching goals with these options: make them viable contenders among the peer subclasses. So yeah, there's some that are underpowered or maybe not well loved or played, so that's an admirable goal. Make sure that the new features presented are broadly applicable in many campaigns. Make sure their theme, playstyle, flavor is being supported by the mechanics of the system. So good goals there. And there's even a new type of armor here, it looks like. And yeah, fun stuff. You got lots you can do with this, you know, especially if you're looking at any of these classes and subclasses and going, yeah, I'd never play that one, might be worth taking a look at this. And you can look at quite a few of them in that preview, so no reason not to click the link below and just read through the preview, see if you are liking the tweaks that Andrew has made to you know, Wizards content. And if so, then maybe it's a good purchase for you. So Azalea's Archive in the links below. Give it a click. Next we have Barbarian Primal Path, Path of Bedevilment by Blair McKenzie. And it is 14 pages at $2. It says barbarians are a frightening force of terror in battle, and those who face them whisper of them being possessed by demons or devils. Usually they're just terrified tales. Sometimes they are true. So they may have used an ancient ritual to bind the devil to themselves or be the unwilling host to a fiendish joyrider. Either way, great power in battle comes at the cost of a dangerous whisper that must always be guarded against. So in addition to the subclass, this book includes a feat, a background, and a backstory. And then there's also GM resources with adventure hooks relating to the class, ideas for NPCs, and stat blocks for NPCs. So I think that's really cool, as I talked about earlier with some of the subclass stuff we were looking at. And we've seen 3 now, this 3rd one today, where we see a subclass where it's not just the mechanics of the subclass. It's, you know, there's lore tables, items. In this case, there's feats, backgrounds, backstories, adventure hooks, you know, and I would encourage other creators watching this video, if you're going to make a subclass, you know, put some extra stuff in there. I think it shows that you're adding more value to your product, and you're not just trying to spit out as many titles as you possibly can, right? You're taking your time adding stuff. I think it'll make people more inclined to use the subclass, because while they may not need to use everything that you've included, the fact that it's there will maybe make them feel more comfortable, and like that they have a lot of options available to them, as opposed to just here's one page with the subclass and, you know, I'm out. Definitely can do that, and those have value too. Not against those. Just saying, if you're a creator watching this, you can learn a lot from these videos and the different things that are out there, and, you know, what people are buying. You know, especially things that meddle. What's meddling? And for those who don't know, meddling means, you know, when you have 50 copies sold, you become copper meddled, and then silver is 100, etc. So definitely worth paying attention to what's happening in the market if you're a creator. But I like this, that it has so many different things. So let's take a look inside. So you get to see 3 of the 14 pages. So you got your introduction with the cover information, and here is the path of bedevilment, and so you've got your features and a list of all the things. So let's look at one of the abilities here. Fiendish Tenacity, 6th level feature. The diabolic energy that runs through you while raging gives you advantage on saving throws against spells and other magical effects. And then Sinister Gaze, those who meet your gaze may be panicked by it. The first creature you hit in a turn, if it can see and hasn't taken care not to look at you, must make a wisdom saving throw. If the creature fails, it becomes frightened. It may make the save again at the end of each of its turn, and once a creature has successfully saved against your gaze, it cannot be affected by it for 24 hours. So some fun stuff to, you know, lean into that possessed idea. I mean, raging barbarians lend themselves to that too, because they kind of lose control of themselves. They're just raging, you know, like the Hulk, you know, battling things. So I think it was a good call on this author's part to go down that road. So I'm excited to see this, and hope it does well for this author. So click on Barbarian Primal Path down below to give it a look. Next we have Collapsible Guard Tower with Pop-Up Stairs from Becky Sewell. It's $1.50, 8 pages. Easy to store papercraft terrain, pop up and slot together. Easy to assemble and disassemble. And there's a grid that can be used inside. So you see inside it has a little grid. I think we've looked at one of the author's previous works. It had a wizard tower or something, but this one's different. It has a wall and separate pieces, but I like that it's modular, so you can put it together, take it apart, maybe have only 1 floor or 2 floors or whatever you want. And $1.50, it's pretty cheap, you know, to get this thing that you can use over and over again, maybe combined with other minis or other things going on. So here's your instructions, very good instructions, and you print this, and this little slot here allows you to slot these in instead of gluing, so that you can take it apart and reassemble it various ways, and also store it flat, as opposed to gluing it and then you got to kind of have shelf space for it somewhere, or, you know, make a new one every time. So I like that. Very cool. You're going to encounter a tower at some point if you're doing fantasy gaming. So check it out under Collapsible Guard Tower in the links below. Next we have Collective Encounters Volume 1, a collection of one-page encounters created during the Spring 2021 RPG Writer Workshop. And there's, I should mention that there's Volume 1 and 2 have both been released. You know, we only feature 1 title per creator. We try to. Per video, so we're only looking at Volume 1, but I do want you to know there is a Volume 2. They're from Storytelling Collective, $14.99, 62 pages, and it's got a lot of creators involved. Very cool to see all those people involved, and you can see Volume 2 is down here as well. I'd be curious if there's ever going to be a bundle for both of them. That might be kind of a fun option if you're watching Storytelling Collective, because I think this is a great product. It has all kinds of encounters from all different voices, people working hard to learn and really love the craft, so much so that they've gone to the trouble of joining a workshop, right? You don't just fall off the couch into a workshop, right? You have to take effort, you have to take steps, I'm assuming there's some sort of fee, I'm not sure, but that to me indicates that these people have a passion and interest in this, right? They're not just casual. So the fact that they took those steps, that they worked on this with others, makes me think that there's going to be some good stuff in here, because you can't go through this whole workshop and have that many eyes on it without some balancing happening, some tweaking happening to make it better than what it came out originally from its creator, right? So I'm excited by this and this publisher. Let's take a look inside and look, it looks really nice. It got really cool layout, very interesting. We'll read that intro in a second, but you can see here already, okay, here's your encounter. It's got summaries, dungeon rules, first stage, second stage, etc. And then they're all different, right? So this one's for 4 to 6 5th level PCs with a little map. This one is for 1st to 4th level. So you're going to see a variety of different encounters, and you can see they're all kind of one-page little things. So these can be quick little one-shots. I love the little maps and art. They all have their own little style. So you're bound with this many. You're bound to find some that you like, and you're supporting these people. Their work, giving them an early start. So that's cool. It says, as the title suggests, is a collection of encounters, all of which were produced during the spring 2021. Right, your first encounter workshop. This means that the majority of these encounters were written by new writers entering the TTRPG industry. Our mission at the Storytelling Collective is to make writing and publishing an empowering experience, and we're delighted to produce this collection and introduce these creatives to you. Each writer has also designed their own encounter page, so you'll be able to enjoy and get a variety of voices and styles, as I've been saying, right? And so I think that's a really nice way to introduce these people, because these people could go on to become quite well known in this space, right? They could create a lot of stuff, and by purchasing this, you're kind of encouraging them. You may be able to even give some feedback in the comments or discussion. Be constructive if you're going to do that, because a lot of these people are new, right? So they're learning. But I'm looking at some stuff in here and it looks fun. This one says, the Wereborg bandit captain Varad Olin has taken several children from the Sinland hostage. He is holding them in an abandoned fort barrack until he can deliver them to his employer, Guildmaster Kylan Teravan. The town elder has asked for the party's aid in rescuing the hostages from Olin and his crew. So this is a quick encounter. You deal with this werebore. Got a little map. It's pretty straightforward. Fun little thing. Don't have to work too hard to get it ready. It's already ready to go. There's gotta be, if you're a DM, there's gotta be one in here that you can just use right away. With this many, and it doesn't take long to read these little synopses and get get an idea of one that you can, maybe you have a couple of these, print 2 or 3 of them. Since they're one page, you can print the whole thing, right? Whichever one you're going to use. Maybe you're going to use a cabin in the woods, so you just print this one page, have it sitting there ready to go, and it's off to the encounter. So definitely check this out. Collective Encounters 1 in the links below, and have fun. Support these people trying to break into the business. It's exciting. Next we have the Draconomicon by QL Games, Landon Zay, Xavier Bates, Heath Harris, and Mike Olson for $24.99, and it's 256 pages. It says it's a comprehensive review of dragons and dragon-related content from previous editions, not yet part of 5th edition. It builds on principles and rules found in the Player's Handbook and other rule books. Wealth of knowledge that will help you integrate, present, and play both new and old dragons with the awe-inspiring grandeur they deserve. And then here's some things you'll find. So you got chapter 1 is dealing with dragons, so the outlooks and teachings of dragons, such as spiritual aspects, philosophies, common desires, descriptions of dragon physicality, including dragon life cycle, notes on dragon encounters, their lairs, their hordes, their behaviors, etc. Races, 10 playable races, including draconians, and bullywugs, ettercaps, gnolls, etc. Feats and gifts, 25 all-new feats. Spells, 44 draconic spells that harness the magic surrounding dragons to aid you in your social, exploratory, and combative endeavors. And more than 50 magic items that may be wielded by, endowed through, stolen from, or even used against dragons in your campaigns. And a bestiary, over 80 types of classic true dragons. So you've got arcane dragons, gem dragons, lung dragons, metallic dragons, planar dragons, and more. So if you're missing some dragons, this has got you covered. Templates to guide you through creating other age groups of dragons. 25 builds for innate spellcasting dragons, expanded combat for dragons to control the battlefield, 42 traps and dungeon hazards, and custom dragon encounters. So, and this was the group that did the Tasha's Crucible books, which were very popular, and this one's already, selling really well from what I can see on the front page of the site. And 256 pages of dragon stuff. That's pretty cool. So yeah, this is fun. Got some cool art there in the beginning. And then you can see here all the different dealing with dragons, races, spells, gem dragons, planar dragons, lots of different planar dragons. I mean, that alone could be useful. And then you get to look through here, see all kinds of stuff. Looks like these might be some dragon gods. Yep, dragon gods. So, I know there was a lot of older dragon material that hadn't made it to 5th edition, so this might be bringing back some of the things that you were missing. But you get to see 20 of the 256 pages in the preview, and even information here on the eggs. Matured adult, we'll find something to read here in a minute. Even something on dragon chess, which is nice. And famous dragons. So there are innumerable dragons across the Forgotten Realms. A few of the better known ones are briefly described here. So yeah, you get those list of dragons. Dragon Society dragons usually have little or no notion of constructed society. Even religious dragons tend to follow tenets based entirely on personal beliefs, and may or may not observe to follow the religion's dogma consistently. While a dragon may eventually learn the laws of a specific group, for any myriad of reasons, the understanding that some creatures do things out of negative, positive consideration for others does not initially occur to a dragon. The closest that most dragons come to a true society are occasional cooperative alliances, and it has been noted that these dragons are usually slightly more understanding of structured society. So yeah, you're getting into like a lot of details about the society, and then you got philosophy. So seems like some fun things could be in here. Dragons, there's a supplement coming out from Wizards on Dragons in October, and I'm also going to release a book on dragons in October. It's definitely different than this book. It's so I think these two books could complement each other. Mine's definitely a smaller book too, because this is 256 pages, and my dragons book is not going to be that long, for sure. But it's fun to see dragons getting some attention. I mean, it's in the name of the game, right? Dungeons and Dragons. So it's always fun to see them getting the spotlight, and there could be some really cool stuff in here. We're only getting to see 20 of the pages, so not really able to dive deep into these other parts, but just reading the headings, right, it looks like there could be some fun stuff. So if you got the Tasha's books that they released and you like those, this might be another fun title for you. And it is under Draconomicon in the links below, so give it a click and check it out. Next we have Drama Dices by Nikita Novikov, and it says it's $2 at 6 pages. It will help game masters make the games more heroic and dynamic, while incentivizing players to roleplay their characters. It's a little mechanic that will give you an alternate reward for players who play well. They will have more control over what is happening at the table. Equally important, it will allow you to reward each other's players, highlighting the best moments of the game. And you can customize your characters with this. So let's take a look. And it's so you're going to see 2 of the pages. Drama dice are received in the following ways. Player receives 1 drama dice whenever he shows up for the game. Player can receive 1 or several drama dice from the GM as a reward for role-playing his character's ideals, flaws, bonds, or traits. Player can receive 1 or several drama dice from other players at the end of the session. So, at the end of the session, GM decides how many drama dice each player receives to give out. The exact amount usually depends on several factors: how the players, how many players are in the game, and how much they accomplished during the session, and how good the role play was. And then it doesn't really tell you what you do with those because we're only seeing 2 pages, but it sounds like it incentivizes players. Maybe it's a way to get them to show up. Hey, if I don't show up to the weekly session, I'm not going to get my drama dice, which might be, a little hook, right, to get your players to always show up. I don't know, but it's only $2, and you can read a little bit more than I read there to make your determination, and yeah, it could be an option. So check it out under Drama Dice in the links below. Next we have Great Starts Volume 1, The 100-Year Dungeon by Matthew Ashcraft. It's $2.95 for 19 pages. It's designed to give your campaign a fresh, fun start. Gone are the days of meeting up in a tavern and banding together just because that's what the story demands. With the Great Start series, your players can get off on the right foot in a natural and interesting way, as their characters bond while they overcome mortal danger over the course of your first session or 2. Designed to freely lead into any campaign, the 100-Year Dungeon is a fantastic way to start off the fun for your table, and full of everything you need to begin your campaign today. There are 5 pre-made characters, a full 1 shot's worth of adventure, the map of the dungeon itself, and enemy stat blocks. So that's good. And let's take a look inside. So here's that's a fun map. Nice colors. And then you've got stuff to read to your players, and then right into the module. So let's find a little section we can read here. It says, when the players enter 1A for the first time. As you enter through the double doors, a soft pink glow radiates ahead and to your right. A grouping of large mushrooms grows against the cobblestone wall here, breaking up through large cracks in between the stone slabs that make up the ground. It is these fungi that produce, or fungi, I'm not sure how you say that produce the otherworldly light. To your left, a dark opening appears almost straight to your right, a larger opening that juts up and away. Directly ahead of you, another closed door 40 feet away. So lots of flavor text in here to read as you go through the map, each section. And it sounds like it's a good start to an adventure, right? And that's the whole point of the series, is that it's, instead of just meeting up in a tavern, this is going to, presumably offer another way to kick off everything. So that's fun. So look for it under Great Starts in the links below. Next we have Hero's Journey, Rules for Traveling in 5th edition. Make travel exciting in this supplementary rule set. I like this art. Very cool. It's by Aidan Fisk, $4.95 and a pay what you want price for the 8 pages. So you can adjust that price if you want, but definitely pay something. It says the 3 pillars of D&D are combat, social interaction, and exploration. Supplement your game with this optional rule set to enhance your group's adventures in between locations. Featuring easy-to-understand rules for traveling through different terrain, a suggested outline for a typical adventuring day, rules for getting lost on a journey, as well as some sample encounters for different terrains to get you started on customizing your group's journey. It tries to find a middle ground between the bare-bones traveling of normal 5th edition rules while avoiding the dice roll heavy random encounters and resource management of other alternate travel rule sets. So that's good goals for sure. So let's look inside. So you can see 4 of the 8 pages. And it says what you need to have set up. It says what you'll need to prepare ahead of time what the area the players are traveling through is like. Are there any roads they can take? Is it easy terrain or is it treacherous? What sort of creatures live in that area? And most importantly, how long does travel take? So using a map, not using a map. So it's giving you a lot of advice on how to prepare for travel in your session, which you're not always able to do, but it's nice when you can. And it says player roles. It may be useful to assign different informal roles to the party as the travel rules call for different roles. Some examples included below. Navigator. The navigator is the player in charge of the maps and planning the routes, as well as making sure the group stays on track during their journey. A trailblazer. While the navigator is looking at the maps and directing the group, the trailblazer is the one leading the party through the wilderness. And then you've got some other roles, including quartermaster and lookout. So could be a fun option if you're going to have a lot of traveling coming up in your campaign. So check it out under Hero's Journey in the links below. Next we have Libraries Illuminated. Appendix 3, books, puzzles, cipher wheels, and other library secrets. Not everything in a library is an open book. By Peter Charon, $7.95, 36 pages. So again, we always have themes every week. Collective subconscious. This week we've seen a lot of undead stuff. We've seen a lot of library book stuff. So it's cool to see that you could maybe group these things together, have fun time. We saw that module with the severed heads that are being used as library lore. Maybe some of these puzzles and things in this book could be combined with that. Or, of course, Candlekeep Mysteries, the famous Candlekeep, could be involved as well with all of these library things we've got this week. So another way to think of books is as secrets bound in cloth and leather. Libraries are multifaceted places filled with potential intrigue. Not only are the books held in their collections oozing with valuable knowledge for those who know how to retrieve it, but also deeper secrets intentionally hidden. So that's a cool thing. And this is part of a series, Libraries Illuminated. And it expands on the use of libraries and books in campaign settings. It covers simple and complex ciphers, as well as concealments involving books, scrolls, and library buildings themselves, several magical items, and a small selection of new book-specific spells. So you get 3 items, 6 spells, 24 adventure hooks, 14 player handouts, 9 simple and complex cipher wheels to assemble and uses interactive table props, 2 full-color adventure maps, and an example of adventure. So look at these cool little cipher wheels that they can use to translate some codes, because why wouldn't you hide stuff in books? It would be a great way to communicate information. And here's some of the other libraries illuminated supplements, and some of them are rather inexpensive. In this one is a little bit bigger, it looks like, so it's a different price, but hey, it sounds like it could be worth it. Let's take a look inside. Okay, so it looks like they only have the quick preview, but that's fine. We can still get the idea. So yeah, there's all these little things going on. I can't read any of it to you from this small preview, but lots of stuff, lots of fun things. And you already saw in this one, they've got these really nice ciphers. Maybe we can read a little bit of this. The Volvel picture to the right and provided with the handouts transforms each letter into a pair of astronomical symbols. This concept works with any set of symbols you want to use. Here the pointer is laying on the letter E, which has the black and red indicators to correspond to the symbols. It looks like 2 waves and an M. So it's like, I don't know what those are, but I'm sure they're astronomical. But yeah, so you can kind of translate a letter into a symbol using a little tool like this, and there's a handout for it. So that alone gives you a lot of value, because you can take that out and use it for anything that you're creating homebrew wise. So I definitely am excited by that. So yeah, look for Libraries Illuminated in the links below and give it a click. Next we have Monk Overhaul. So continuing that theme of overhauling the rules, tweaking things, we've got this from Jeffrey Howe at $3.95, 13 pages. Says there's a lot of back and forth about how good the monk is. My view is it is a good idea that has some problems with implementation. I have made an attempt to make a few changes for the better. One of the biggest struggles I saw is that unlike other classes which have subclasses that add and give new features to use, the monk subclass forces you to choose on whether you will use your key on your core features or the subclass features. There are minor changes to the main class, but the major changes are in most of the subclasses. No changes are made to the new features from Tasha's, but they are reprinted here. So let's take a look inside. So we get to see 6 of the 13 pages. It talks about creating a monk. So you get the full class stuff, all these good things, and then you start getting into the various ways, which is the subclasses. So they're reprinting the whole thing and then tweaking. So I'm not sure how to tell you what's changed. So I'm just going to read one of the abilities. It may or may not have changed. So Cloak of Shadows here. By 11th level, you have learned to become one with the shadows. When you are in an area of dim light or darkness, you can use your action to become invisible. You remain invisible until you make an attack, cast a spell, or are in an area of bright light. And that's for Way of the Shadow. So, cool. Kind of collecting all the monk stuff together as well. And tweaking. So if you feel like the author does that things need to change, maybe, you know, having the key points be spread across those two things is not working, this could be an option for you. So look for Monk Overhaul in those links below. Click it. Love this art. This is for Pact of the Storyteller for Warlocks from Zero Reynolds. Pay what you want, price of $1 for 3 pages. And it says a new pact option for the Warlock class aimed at opening up new and interesting utility and roleplay options. There are whispers of a nameless entity that resides in the upper planes of creation. Unlike the rest of its ilk that bestow power and favor to their subordinates to spread their influence, this fiercely curious being gifts its agents with the means to bring it back information about the lower realms, lore, experience, emotion, tales. Stories are how it experiences reality. And the listener is generous to those willing to share, no matter how the details were obtained. Thus is the pact made and kept the listener and its storyteller. So again, this week we're getting these themes of storytelling, books. You know, it's amazing what the collective unconscious does. It's you know, these creators are working unaware that others are working on similar kind of themes, and then they all release in the same week. So I would love to go back and kind of document what the themes are for each week, but tons of library, books, storytelling this week, and so you can craft an awesome campaign combining all these supplements together and having a, you know, be themed. And so this Pact of the Storyteller really would work in that or on its own. I mean, just that art alone, I truly love this art. I think it's very imaginative and colorful. But let's take a look inside. You can see 2 of the 3 pages, so almost the whole book here. So yeah, you can see Pact of the Storyteller, and then you've got your expanded list, and we'll read one of the abilities here. So once upon a time, when you reach 14th level, you unlock the true power of the lore your patron craves. As an action, choose a target you can see within 60 feet of you. The target need only be able to hear your words. It must make a wisdom saving throw against your warlock spell save DC. On a failed save, it is charmed and trapped in an illusion of your making based on the story being told. The effect lasts for 1 minute or until your concentration is broken, as if you are concentrating on a spell. This effect ends early if the creature has taken any damage. During the tale, the creature can only hear your voice and stare enraptured as the world around it transforms into the setting of your story, complete with illusory figures playing out the roles. You must finish a short or long rest before you can use this feature again. So fun, thematic abilities, gorgeous art, and cheap price. It's only $1, and you can even tweak that, but definitely pay something to support this creator. I think this is exciting. I would love to play this alongside the book bearer from my lineages book, because I think they could kind of play off of each other, because that one also deals with another plane, right? So the two together could be a really fun story. They could go on an adventure together, because this one deals with this from the upper planes, and then the book bearer lineage deals with Kenia and Mephistopheles, and so they could be like a adventuring duo that go out there, and you know, they have to deal with books and stories, and they could maybe even interact, because you know, the book bearer has a book, and so the storyteller could be like, I need the knowledge from your book, you know, for this the listener. my patron. So fun, exciting stuff, and I love it. I just like looking at this too. So check it out, Pact of the Storyteller for Warlocks, in the links below. Next we have a preliminary study of metallurgic properties and elemental magic by Advari Jarson, or Christopher Teal here, and it's pay what you want, price of $1.50. Are you bored with air, fire, water, and air? Me too. Is it time to add some scientific knowledge to magical expression, and so bring a new range of spells into existence? This book contains 16 new spells for the Wizard and Artificer classes, inspired by the properties of real-life metallic elements. Have fun! Alright, so here's 3 of the 9 pages. So we're getting to see some of the spells. They wisely chose to just skip the front stuff and go straight to the spells, so that's helpful in the preview. So let's look at some of these spells. So here's Plague of Rust. It's 5th level. Metallurgy, so I'm assuming that's a new school. And it says you blow gently on a flake of rust. It flies up and flutters around like a moth before exploding into a swarm that envelops and consumes all in its path. Each creature in a 60-foot cone originating from you must make a Constitution saving throw. They take 5d12 points of necrotic damage on a failed save, or half as much on a successful one. Additionally, any metallic objects within the blast automatically take the full damage. So, very cool rust-themed stuff. And then, there's all kinds of other stuff. You've got conduction up here when you take cold, fire, lightning, necrotic, radiant, or thunder damage from a source you can see. You can spend your reaction to transfer 10d4 of that damage to a creature within range, causing you to receive less damage. So, cool. And, yeah, all sorts of fun stuff, metal-themed things. It's nice to mix it up instead of just having air, fire, and water, right? Let's see the metals as well. So I think this could be really fun for people looking for something different. So look for preliminary study in the links below and give it a click. Next we have the Soul Knight, brand new class of magical warriors. And it's by Vaughn Campbell at $4.99 for 13 pages. It says, inspired by pop culture phenomenon such as Demon Slayer and Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor, the Soul Knight is a class for characters who like to be unnaturally fast and deceptively strong, able to perform incredible feats in combat thanks to their study of soul magic. This homebrew class features three unique subclasses: Bond of the Blade, Bond of the Dragon, and Bond of the Revenant. Soul Knights that love the thrill of combat, inspired by shonen anime. These Soul Knights channel their magic into weapon strikes, manifesting into elemental power. Bond of the Dragon, based on the relationship between dragon and rider, as seen in a series such as How to Train Your Dragon. These Soul Knights receive a drake egg to raise during their apprentice training. Eventually, the bond formed results in powerful draconic abilities for both the Drake and Knight. Bond of the Revenant, roaming spirits that have unfinished business will latch on to a Soul Knight, exchanging their powers of undeath for a vessel that will aid in their endeavors. So they have the 3 subclasses for this class that we just read there. And that's always nice when you have a new class to get those subclasses as well. You get to see 6 of the 13 pages in the full-size preview here. So we'll look at some of the class features in a second, but you get to see several of the soul bonds, which is the subclasses, and then here's a companion you get under Bond of the Dragon. But let's go up here and read some of the features. At 3rd level, you choose an archetype you focus on, so that's your soul bond. And let's see. Soul breathing sustained. By 10th level, if you learn to extract fragments from creature souls as they die, when you reduce an enemy to 0 hit points while you're soul breathing, you regain 1 soul shard. So that's a resource you're spending, apparently. When you reach 17th level, you're able to toy with death itself by splitting your soul at its core. As an action, you can magically imbue an object with at least half of your maximum soul shards. You temporarily reduce your current and maximum soul shards by this amount. The object may be a circlet, amulet, ring, bracelet, or other piece of jewelry. If the object is destroyed, your maximum amount returns to normal immediately, but the soul shards within the object are wasted. Otherwise, if you die but are not killed outright, your body magically vanishes and you immediately appear within 5 feet of the object. You gain half of your maximum hit points and have a number of soul shards equal to the number within the object. So it's kind of like a resurrection thing, which is cool. And then, yeah, you've got all these different classes. This Bond of the Dragon looks really fun because it seems like you're going to get a little companion here. So that's awesome. And yeah, I think it's fun, nice layout, very Wizards-like, and it's under Soul Knight in the links below, so give it a try. Next we have So What Is Your Story? Beginner's Guide to Building and Crafting Characters for $4 from Daylight Publications, 13 pages. Before we get into the nitty-gritty, it says, the biggest point we need to get out of the way is that there is not a winner and there's not a loser in Dungeons & Dragons. Role-playing games are about building and crafting stories with your fellow players and your dungeon master, not you versus anyone else. Sure, you might be playing against the non-player characters that the DM has created for you, but you're not playing against your DM. You are building and developing and unveiling a story with everyone else around you at the table. This is the key to your enjoyment of the game. So kind of helping players get acclimated to being a character. So it says you'll be walked through how to create and conceptualize a character, have side-by-side fall player character create their character, or play a faux character. Sorry, a faux player create a character, so you can kind of follow along. Get the basic bare bones of how the character is made, gain roleplay tips for working with your dungeon master. So if you have somebody in your life that's like resistant to maybe playing, or has tried but then gets frustrated and just gives up before they even get done with character creation, this could be a way to really ease them into it. Let them follow along with this faux player, you know, as they kind of create one, and maybe it'll seem less daunting. But you can see here, there's, you know, got the character concept, and then all about the skills, saving throws, fun stuff, alignment, class, one-on-one roleplay, all that good stuff. It says backgrounds are often criminally underutilized and underappreciated in building a 5th edition character. They give you a really firm base to build from and offer quite a bit to help round out your character. I agree with that. Backgrounds are so cool and can really offer a lot. Yeah, I've got 2 in my Feywild book coming out next month, and I can't wait for you to read them. And yes, they're so useful and really lay a foundation, especially with the flaws and bonds and all that good stuff. I think that was one of the best things to come out of 5th edition is the structure of backgrounds, because I think it just really maps it out for you, makes it really easy to role play your character. But I like that this book is kind of giving you maybe like a director's commentary on your character creation to help you ease into it. So look for What Is Your Story in the links below. Next we have Split the Party with Don't crossed out here. It's a collection of encounters, magic items, maps, creatures, and an adventure demonstrating the power and fun of splitting the party. It's by Steve Jasper Orr, Bill Petrino, DJ Brewer, Wizard Sleeve Studios at $4.95 for 51 pages. And before I read this, I just want to say, as a writer, I notice, you know, television shows, everything, you know, the way the writing is, all that stuff. And, you know, rarely on a show, a television show that has multiple characters, do you see all the characters in every scene. It's just not how stories are normally told. So this notion that D&D, you have to never ever split the party, it's bad to split the party, really to me goes against normal good storytelling rules. I get it. I get why people say that. They don't want to be sitting at the table while the other players are doing something and they have to, like, you know, mess around on their phone or, you know, find something else to do while the other players are going through their thing and then, you know, wait their turn. I get it. But I think done selectively and at key moments and for short periods, maybe even while somebody's not able to make it, or maybe somebody ran out to get food, or somebody you know, needs an extended break, you can do something where, you know, the characters are separated for a little bit, and it works really well. On some of the streams I've watched, you know, they do it, and I think it works really well. It's more dramatic. It's also more dangerous when you're separated, and that's probably why most people don't want to be separated. So I'm happy to see that there's literally now a book focused on showing you how you can do it. It's not always going to work. but I think it's good that this title exists to encourage people to give it a try, even if it's just for a tiny thing or a small part of your campaign or a small part of your session. Definitely don't want it to become the norm that you're always split. That's not what I'm saying, and I don't think that's what this book is saying. But anyway, that's my rant on splitting the party. So we talked about the prevailing wisdom. Split the Party provides advice, encounters, and an original adventure that guides Dungeon Masters through dividing the party in ways that enhance the suspense and create a cohesive experience from multiple angles, whether it's one half of the party trying to survive on their own while the other half desperately tries to locate and save them, or the characters taking on different tasks while preparing an extraordinary feast. There are many ways for the heroes to work together separately towards a common goal. Yes, cities, urban stuff, that's always a really good place to have people wander off, and you can just go around the table and, just be cognizant of time. Don't spend an hour on one or two people and leave the others sitting there. I mean, that's just a simple way of doing it. I'm going to spend 5 minutes each person. This is a good time if you need to go to the restroom. I'm going to go 5 minutes each person, and we're done. Whatever it is. So it includes advice on how to make splitting the party good, mechanics for scaling the included adventure and encounters, an original adventure that splits the party in half, 4 modular encounters that can be plugged into any adventure or campaign, 7 brand new magic items that are built around the idea of the party members being separated, 5 full color maps, 44 NPC and creatures. So yeah, look at the nice artwork we're getting to see. Yeah, I like Wizard's Sleeve. I think they're doing some fun stuff. And yeah, so let's take a look at, you get to see 27 of the 51 pages. That's quite a big preview. So you can see some of these encounters, lots of good stuff. I'm just scrolling through real fast quickly so you can kind of see like the look of it. Great layout, lots of fun art, flavor text included for these adventures. So it says keep everyone engaged. Even though the characters themselves may not know what the other part of their group is doing, the players sitting around the table know. A good encounter draws those players in, so they are invested in what happens in each part of the encounter. Although, admittedly, it takes some discipline on the part of the players to keep this out-of-game knowledge separate from what their characters can act upon when it is their turn. As long as characters get chances to participate in the event, they should remain engaged. Each specific encounter includes some tips and guidance on how to ensure this happens for the particular event. Love it. That's awesome. Because if you follow this and do it and it works well and you see kind of the tips, then there's nothing stopping you from extending this technique to future adventures, because it literally just does not make sense that these people would never be separated. I know lots of things don't make sense in a fantasy setting, but I feel as a storyteller and a writer disappointed that people are so limited and say, I never split the party, never split the party. Okay, maybe you had a bad experience when that happened, but try this book. See if you can make it work. Try what I was saying, limit it to small spurts instead of a whole session, right? Maybe use a big hourglass, or not for the full hour like it said, but some sort of timer, even a phone app timer, stopwatch to say, I'm gonna talk to this person for 5 minutes, this person 5 minutes, whatever technique you try. And there's a lot in here. I would love to read this whole thing and see what they suggest, and I think you should too. Under Split the Party, down there in those links, click it. Next we've got The Traveling Salesman, right place, right time, every time. An investigative adventure for a party of any level, written by Victoria Blackmore. $4.95 for 44 pages. A magic shop, The Traveling Salesman, has appeared in town just in time for the party's arrival. The shop specializes in being in the right place at the right time, with the right equipment for the right adventures. Its wisteria-covered frontage adorns any old blank wall space and immediately looks like it's been there for decades. So, very flavorful description. And it talks about the shopkeeper. So, it's got a hungry plains traveling magic shop, a lich, I'm not sure, I guess lich is probably how you say it, who takes particular delight in winding adventurers around her little finger to do her bidding, a planar tear that threatens to pull the whole town or more into the Shadowfell. Spooky House of Delights, NPCs whose motives will be thoroughly questioned by the party. A 3 to 10 hour adventure for party of any level and composition. The party may benefit from Planes Traveling Base of Operations, a recurrent NPC quest giver, 4 original hand-drawn maps, advice for new DMs, and a separate accessible adventure. I love this from what I'm reading. 44 pages of this. Awesome. I want to read it. I mean, it says this also was written as part of the Storytelling Collective's Write Your First Adventure workshop. So this notion that this is a traveling shop that just occupies a blank wall space, that there's a lich involved, there's a planar tear, could be a base of operations, could be a quest giver. I mean, you got options here, and it's very flavorful. We're just reading the catalog page. We haven't even looked inside. So, yeah, more Storytelling Collective goodness. Yeah, you see all this. I mean, 44 pages, that's a lot. And the layout's nice and clean, easy to read. Fun hand-drawn little map here. Yeah, you get to see 20 of the 44 pages, so you get to see almost half of it. How often do you get this much information about a shop? I mean, seriously, 44 pages about one shop, and then the adventure. You know, I think this is a great way to introduce a base of operations potentially. So yeah, let's find something that we can read here. It says this is regarding the shop itself, called the Traveling Salesman. This was once the home of Verdenia Siskin, a lich of some power who called it the Velvet Wisteria. Its primal consciousness reminisces fondly over those fat days when it regularly received a meal of a soul or two to learn from and absorb. Its new owner doesn't seem to have got the memo, so it communicates with him the only way it knows how, through dreams. And the traveling salesman pleads for food, but the halfling is frightened. If it didn't enjoy gallivanting about the plains so much, predicting where the next large threat to the realms would be, it might consider taking matters into its own hands. So very flavorful little shop, planner stuff going on. This could be the way that your characters get around. You know, maybe this shop disappears when they least expect it and takes them to their next location of their next adventure. So look for Traveling Salesman in the links below. Next we have War of the Moons, a 2d8 based divination system for in-game fortune telling by Chris Valentine. Love this cover, gorgeous art, very well done here. And it's $2.49 for 20 pages. It says, have you ever wanted to have a method of divination less complex than tarot cards? Be able to throw fortune telling into any town, carnival, or traveling merchant? Now you can with this simple system based on 2 opposing moons. Reconfigure as you desire or use as is. Contains 64 different outcomes, each that can be interpreted any number of ways. Great for fun, wasting time, or adding in thought-provoking character development and plot hooks. So we're going to look at the full preview here. Just love that art. And so here's how to use, and here's the divination table, and then you get like a keyword, and then you look up what that means. So we'll look at one of these in a minute, and there's all these symbols, so this looks like a lot of fun. It says built around 2d8 rolls, and by the way, we're seeing 10 of the 20 pages, so quite a good sample. Each d8 represents an opposing force as written. These are moons. The light moon is Nephora, and the dark moon is Silaroth. The results of the D8, when rolled, tell us which phase that moon is in. The combination of the 2 phases gives us the result. Each phase cycle is divided into 8 parts for our purposes here. The phases are as follows: waking, midwax, etc. So once the result is located, it can be read, summarized, or alluded to. The related keywords will give ideas on how this can be used in game. They are suggestions only. Maybe they will get a +1 to a related activity. Maybe it's advantage, maybe it's disadvantage, maybe they are nudged to focus on those activities during dungeon delving. So then you've got your list here, and then you've got the various symbols. So we'll just look at the first one, Symbol the Storm. Related influences, charisma, or persuasion. Something is in the air and the powers are at play, attempting to grow and gain control. Watch for new agendas and motives. Influential people, for those that wish they were influential, maybe posturing and positioning themselves in positions that will pay off later. So you can kind of weave that into your story. And you know, it said opposing forces, so maybe this is one force, and then you maybe pick a different one. So we'll look at power down here. Power reveals the dark forces are in full strength while the light forces are frail. They have a clear path ahead for their agendas and campaigns. Avoid conflicts if you can, as strength is on the side of the opponent. So you can, maybe that's the opposing side. And then these influences: strength, grappling, attack. So what you could do, if I'm reading this properly, is you could give, you know, advantage on a strength check, or you know, some kind of buff based on this if you want to add a layer in here. But they've got lots of different things. I like how it reads, you know, these little paragraphs. I like how they read because it's very reminiscent of, you know, modern day fortune telling, although it doesn't feel modern day. It has that feeling of like other things that we're familiar with as far as, you know, tarot readings or whatever that are out there today in the real world. So this could be really fun if you've got, you know, somebody using divine stuff all the time in the game to do divination. This could be a new way to do it, and not have to deal with the tarot cards or whatever. So I'm excited by this one. I think it's a great option for people. So click the link for War of the Moons Divination System. And that's our last title for the week. So please follow me on Twitter at Splinterverse. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, share it with people. Click any link below and buy something. Support these creators, and if you buy even things that are not in the list below, it's going to help the channel, so that's always good. And you know, just the community at large, help that community. It is not very profitable to make these books. Most people are operating at a loss and doing it for the love, so help everybody keep engaging those passions by supporting it. And if you're feeling super kind, consider Potions Unlocked as a purchase. It's $9.99, or you can pay more and get a print on demand. It has everything you could ever want for potions. So much stuff. I can't even believe some of the stuff that's in there. It's just to me, it's taking potions beyond where they are. You know, they've gotten stale in the normal 5th edition stuff, so take it to the next level with that book. Or if you want to get crazy with lineages, consider my Van Richten's Libram of Lineages book. It's only $2.99, and there's 4 really fun, flavorful lineages in there that work in any setting. And there's rules on how you can not only remove a lineage, but how you can string them together, which is really fun. And I adore the lineages in there because they're just really innately conflicted. And I think it'll help you if you're looking for creating a character that just has a lot going on. I think that book could be a lot of fun for you. But yeah, check it out. Those links are in the video description as well. And as always, thanks so much for watching, supporting these creators. You know, I love doing these videos. It takes a lot of time each week, but I want to support this community as best I can. And this is one way I can do that. And you can too, by clicking those links and promoting the video, promoting all these titles. Anything you can do, I think it's going to help the community as a whole. So thanks again. Stay tuned. Come back next week. And until next time, happy adventuring.